Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Lucky Wolf, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 returning Pokemon that I think are going to be quite meta-defining in Regulation D, and I know that this is a super, what would you call it, like a super arbitrary way that I've categorized the returning Pokemon in my head, but today I'm just going to be talking about Pokemon that have been legal in the past in VGC, so I will not be talking about any of the Hisuian Mons. In my last video I did talk a bit about some of the Hisuian Mons that will be legal in VGC in Regulation D. So if you're interested in that, I will link that, I guess, in the description, if you'd like to give that a watch. And I will be 100% talking about them more in the coming days and everything like that, but I really just wanted this video to focus on returning Mons that had been legal. And again, I know that all the Mons are technically returning, but it's just a weird arbitrary distinction I've made in my head, and I'm sticking with it at this point. But the first 3, I feel like I would truly be remiss. The first 3 Pokemon that I do want to talk about are the 3 genies, the 3 returning genies. So I know that there is Landorus, and I actually did talk about Landorus at length in my previous video. I do think it's going to be very good. I'm excited to use Landris Therian, the turtle one, in Trick Room, but today I'm sticking with Landorus, Tornadus, and Thunderous. So I'm gonna kind of talk about them as all together first, and then I'll talk about them individually a little bit more. And I'll just say right now, the other 2 Pokemon I'm gonna be talking about are Reggie Lucky and Cresselia. I am so excited to have my Space Duck back. I think Trick Room's gonna be very good. I don't think you even have to use Cresselia in Trick Room. See, okay, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna talk about Cresselia a little bit later in the video. I am gonna start with the genies, but I do want to let you know those are the Pokemon I am gonna be talking about today. But so I think something that I really want to touch on is, hold on, let me drop the music a little bit. It feels like it's a little bit low. Maybe that's a little bit better. Maybe I should turn it up for myself. I'm sorry. Live editing, Pog. Okay. Boop. Anywho, back to the video. So, Landorus, Tornadus, and Thunderous all got new moves. Shear Storm, and I definitely know all the names of these new moves. So Landorus gets Shear Storm, which is a special move, 100 base power, spread damage, 20% chance to burn your to burn your foes. That is very good. That is very good. Burn gives you chip damage. Burn halves the damage of physical attackers if you happen to be attacking into physical attackers. That's phenomenal. However, the accuracy is 80. So there's, so there's a bit of a drawback. There's an accuracy check. So Tornadus also gets Bleak Windstorm, very similar to the move that Landorus has. Bleak Windstorm, same thing, 100 base power, 80 accuracy, spread damage, special move, flying type move. I meant to say it was a ground type move before. I apologize, I did not say that. 30% chance to lower the foe's speed by 1. Speed is, I like to think, probably the most important stat in Pokemon. Knowing your speed tiers is very important, all of that kind of stuff. So being able to catch your opponent and lower their speed, and especially with dynamic speeds now, so you can hit them, you lower their speed, maybe your other Pokemon outspeeds, bam, that's a KO. Thunderous, similar move, and I definitely know the name. I definitely knew that it was Wild Bolt Storm. Also, these names are kind of sick. I kind of like them. They're kind of outlandish, and I kind of like them. Okay, so similar, 100 BP, 80% accurate, special move, spread move, 20% chance to paralyze foe. Like I said, with the Tornadus move, paralysis does decrease your speed. Unless you are Lumberry, you can't swap out and get rid of the paralysis. No, that is a status move. That is here to stay. In addition, paralysis also leaves your opponent with the chance to just simply not move. So it's going to be very hard for them to win the game if their Pokemon is getting fully parried, if they aren't able to move. So that is another phenomenal move. So they all have the accuracy check, right? They all have the accuracy check, 80% accurate. No. Well, kind of. So I do want to share something. I saw on Twitter. Did I do it? There we go. I will link this Twitter in the description down below. From Dewobblefet. There we go. I said it right. I believe. Again, I will link this. I did not discover this. I cannot take credit. I did just want to make sure that I added this into the video just because I think it's like really important because it just powers up the genies so much. But so the new moves of Bleak Wind Storm, Wild Bolt Storm, and Sand Sear Storm all have sure hit accuracy in rain like Hurricane. Springtide Storm. Okay, these are tongue twisters. These are just secret tongue twisters. I can't even say tongue twister. Help. Okay. Springtide Storm does not have the same behavior. So Springtide Storm is Enamorus's version of these moves. And so I do want to share a little bit more. I hit 9 Bleak Wind Storms, 7 Wind Bolt Storm, and 9 Sand Steer Storms. Woo! I gotta find a way to shorten those. Okay. All in rain at -6 accuracy. I did not test if they're 50% in sun, because that is how Hurricane functions. Update, Battle Mechanics Researcher says that they aren't set to 50% in sun and can't hit Pokemon mid-fly. So all very, very, very good to know. And last update too, just because I've been asked so many times already, Springtide Storm isn't sure hit accurate in sun either. Okay. So that is really, really, really incredible, honestly. Here, I'm gonna go back to Shodan real quick. So that is, having those kind of spread moves is absolutely incredible. So I especially want to shout out the Shear Force Landorus. So Shear Force, this Pokemon's attack with secondary effects have a 1.3 times power, but it nullifies the effects. So you are saying, okay, I'm not going for the burn because I'm simply going to go for this massive KO, right? So your ground type, you get your ground type stab, and then you also are Shear Force boosted. You can even go Terra Ground to be double ground type stab and Shear Force boosted. Spread damage, special damage. There's nothing like. Your opponents can go for Snarl, they can go for Light Screen, all that kind of stuff, but unlike Intimidate, there's no ability where it's like, okay, you can swap in just to get the attack decrease. No, this is a special attack, you can't just swap in to get the special attack decrease. Like, you know, Tinglu does exist and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't function quite the same as like a physical attack might. So I just wanted to give that shout, and additionally, I did touch on this in my last video, but, I mean, this is definitely going to change in Regulation D. But I think special type ground moves, especially in Regulation C, are particularly good because a lot of people, when they are accounting for taking, if they're calcing and they're accounting for taking ground type moves, you know, they're probably thinking more along the lines of Garchomp or of Tinglu or of Great Tusk, like physical ground type moves. So if you can get a sneaky little earth power in there that maybe they aren't calculating for, maybe they didn't put as much special defense into their Pokemon, then you can maybe pick up some little sneaky KOs and everything like that. So I think it's definitely going to change in Regulation D, but I think having such powerful special ground type moves is going to make people rethink how they do EV their Pokemon, how they do train their Pokemon, and how they do team build as well. So this kind of leads me into Thunderous. So Thunderous does have Prankster. Rain Dance. So Thunderous does have yeah, that is a sentence. Okay, so Tornadus does have Prankster Rain Dance, Prankster Tailwind. Like, Tornadus is an incredible Pokemon, and Bleak Wind Storm. Did you keep Icy Wind? Yes, you did. Okay, so Tornadus is a really, really, really incredible Pokemon. The reason that having a Prankster weather move is so incredibly important and is so incredibly good is because let's say your opponent is using Sun. Let's say your opponent leads their Torkoal and their Jumpluff, let's say. So if you had your Pelipper, usually, you know, if you also led your Pelipper, then you would not be able to get your weather up because weathers do activate by who is, by speed tiers, right? So Pelipper is faster than Torkoal, Pelipper would get the rain up, but then that same turn 0, like first turn, Torkoal would get, the sun up, right? So, however, you bypass all of that by just being able to set it up. With a move, even if your opponent swaps out, like even if your opponent swaps and brings in their weather, you still, like, first turn, they swap out, they bring in their Torkoal, they set their sun, but then you get to Rain Dance. So you're always getting your weather up. So I think that is really incredible, especially if you're going for a setup, especially if you want to be hitting those bleak windstorms. Yeah, that's a sick name, I gotta say. Or if you want to hit your Sandseer storms, anything like that. Additionally, you have Prankster Tailwind. You know, we've all used Talonflame. We've all, or we've been against Talonflame, you know. We know how Talonflame works. We know how, Murkrow works, so we know how good Prankster Tailwind can be with Prankster Tailwind, and then you have another form of speed control. I always really liked using Murkrow with Tailwind and Icy Wind. Like in Series 1, I really liked Murkrow with Tailwind, Icy Wind. That way, you can Tailwind, but then you can also, if they want to Tailwind back, you're constantly getting your speed. You're always going to be faster, because you Tailwind and then you hit them with an Icy Wind, Icy Wind, Icy Wind. Like, they just cannot get the speed traction. So I think I really wanted to give Icy Wind the shout as well, so you have the double speed control there. You can also, if you get into kind of like Tornadus Wars, you can, if they set their Tailwind... Am I secretly live? Am I secretly live? Is this my worst nightmare come true? Is this my worst nightmare come true? Is this my worst nightmare come true? I don't think I'm secretly live, but thank you very much for the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. I do appreciate it. Oh my gosh, that scared me so much. Oh, I'm sweating. Oh my gosh. Anyone else who streams, please let me know if your secret fear is just like secretly being live. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you very much for the follow. I'll make sure to thank you on stream as well. I might have to cut this out. Oh my gosh. I am sweating. Whew. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm just like, sorry, now I'm just checking my OBS. Because the start streaming and the start recording buttons are within a breath, within a hair of each other. They're right next to each other. In fact, you could just simply slip and hit the start streaming. But I didn't. I did it. It says I'm not live. It says I'm not live. That scares me so bad. Okay, back to the video. We're serious. I got my hair up. Back to the video. So, Pokemon. I have no idea. Okay, I have to cut this out because I don't remember what I was saying. We're just going to come back, and I'm going to say, oh yeah, if you get into... We're back. If you get into a Tornadus War, right? So let's say you want to run Sash Tornadus. Pretty popular item. So let's say, and they lead their Tornadus and another Pokemon. They go for Tailwind, and then they attack you with their other Pokemon. You are then able, that first turn, you're able to go for the Icy Wind, and then next turn, because you still have your Prankster intact, you can still get your Tailwind up. They are at -1, and you will have your Tailwind a turn longer than they will have their Tailwind as well. So I think it's like a particularly useful, if you can make a good call, it's particularly useful in the Tornadus Wars as well. And I also am going to touch on Thunderous. So we do have both Prankster and Defiant Thunderous. So for Prankster Thunderous, you get things like Prankster, I can't think of what it's called. You get Prankster Nasty Pop. That's not what I'm thinking of. Thunderwave. Wow, just left my head. So you get things like Prankster Thunderwave, Taunt, all those moves. You can run yourself special or physical. You do have a good attack stat if you do want to run the Defiant variant. We saw a lot of the Defiant variant in Sword and Shield. The Defiant variant was really good with Dynamax, like next to another physical attacker, so they couldn't really intimidate you. Then you could Dynamax and you get max airstreams off and everything like that. But I think Prankster, I think both will be very usable, but I think we might see Prankster more. But then I also definitely want to talk about Landris Therian. There we go. So Landris Therian with the Volt Absorb, because you have a very, very good attack stat in special attack stat. You have a very good special attack stat in the 145 special attack with your special Wild Bolt Storm. With your special Wild Bolt Storm, like in rain, let's say, with the Volt Absorb, with Electric Stab, you have your Electric Stab, you can also go Electric Terra, hit for even more damage, and then also have a chance to paralyze your opponents. Like, I think these three Pokemon are going to be very, very, very good. Additionally, I do want to talk, just for a second, I swear, just for a second, about Landorus Therian with the Intimidate, having a Pokemon that has access to Intimidate and also is a flying type Pokemon, is immune to ground type moves and everything like that, similar to Gyarados, is really, really, really incredible. You can also hit back with any sort of earthquakes. You also do have the earth power, 145 attack stat, so really, really, really good attack stat. So you have earthquake, you have rock slides to cover for other flying type mons. You can even run if you want to run something spicy. You can run Terra Ice or anything like that. You can be able to hit or Terra Flying. That way you get a good flying type move, a good flying type stab move, and it'll be double. It will be you will get the double stab boost as well from Flying Terra, flying type. Yeah. Yes, yes. So you'll get the double stab. You'll get the double stab from that as well. And just Intimidate is a really incredible ability. It's a truly, truly, truly incredible ability. I also want to give the shout for U-turn. Being able to pivot out your Intimidate is really, really, really incredible. We see this on various balance teams and everything like that. Like when we see Iron Hands and we see an Iron Hands that has Volt Switch, that's not Intimidate, but you are able to pivot out your Fake Out, so you could have the Landris and the Iron Hands as a little core on your team. That way you would be able to bait ground type moves into the Iron Hands. You can swap in your Landris, you can get an Intimidate off. Then you get to U-turn, then you get to bring back in your Iron Hands, you get your Fake Out back, you can go for Volt Switch, you can get your Landorus back in. Like, you're really able to cycle to get yourself into the position you want, so you are able to hit the gas and you are able to start picking up KOs, and you put your opponent on the back foot when you do that as well. So I think having an Intimidator that is immune to ground type moves that also has a pivoting move, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent Pokemon. Okay, so I do want to talk about Reggie Lucky a little bit as well. I really thought I was going to be able to do this video in less than 20 minutes. I was feeling myself. Sorry. I just like to talk Pokemon. I really do. So I'm going to talk about Reggie Lucky a little bit. Reggie Lucky is an incredible Pokemon. If you did play any VGC in Sword and Shield, you may have been hurt like Reggie Lucky, just like me. Reggie Lucky has a truly astounding speed stat, sitting at 200 base speed with a 100 special attack. However, that is boosted by Reggie Lucky's ability, Transistor, which this Pokemon's offensive stat is multiplied by 1.3 while using an electric type attack. So you get your basic same type attack bonus, stab, boost from your electric typing, but then you also get your Transistor boost. So if you do go for Terra Electric, let's say you go Terra Electric, so you're double stab boosted, Transistor boosted, and you go for you have Thunderbolt, or if you're running Rain to set up your Genies, you can absolutely run Thunder. But I will say, one of the most incredible moves that Reggie Lucky does have access to is the Electro Web. So Electro Web, because Reggie Lucky is so fast, and like I said with dynamic speeds, you are able to get a really fast Electro Web off, so that if your partner Pokemon outspeeds the opposing Pokemon at -1, you have the opportunity to get another really big attack off before they're even able to attack. So Electro Web is a really, really, really phenomenal tool as well that we haven't seen almost at all in Scarlet and Violet. So I think we're going to see absolutely Electro Web is going to come back 100%. I think you can run your Reggie Lucky. I think you can run your Reggie Lucky with Life Orb. I think if you do want to go for a more defensive Terra type, you can go for a grass type Terra. I don't know if me saying defensive is actually the right way to say that. But I think if you want to not go for the electric type Terra, if you don't want to be weak to ground, you can go grass type Terra. Grass type Terra is great for multiple reasons. One, you now resist ground type moves, which you were previously weak to, and two, it does mean that you are immune to Spore, and it does mean that you are immune to Rage Powder. So even if there's an Amoonguss on the field, because Reggie Lucky doesn't have the best ways to hit Amoonguss, especially if you're running mostly electro type attacks, then you can just ignore the Amoonguss. You know, you don't get Rage Powder, you're not wasting your time going for your attacks into the Amoonguss or anything like that, and you can't be spored, so your opponent can't go for a cheeky Protect Spore play or anything like that. Additionally, I think, you know, I know that I don't know much about singles, but I know Ice-type Terra, and I could absolutely see that being used, you know, that way you can hit ground types for super, not only are you not weak to ground type anymore, but you get to hit the ground type back with a super effective move. So I can absolutely see those two. However, I just love the idea of going Terra Electric and you just go Zoom. You either target carefully or you take out the threats to Reggie Lucky in the early game, and then late game you can come in with your Reggie Lucky, you can go Terra Electric, and you can just absolutely clean up, or it just gives you the opportunity to absolutely rip holes and decimate teams and everything like that. So I do want to give Reggie Lucky a shout as well. And last but not least today, sorry, can you tell what Pokemon I'm really excited to talk about? It's Cresselia! I love the Space Duck. I absolutely love the Space Duck, and I do think Trick Room is going to be extremely viable, like aggressively viable in Regulation D. I actually talked about a bunch of Trick Room mons that I think are going to be good. I think a lot of the Hisuian mons, there we go. I think a lot of the Hisuian mons are going to really thrive in Trick Room. I think a Namorous is great in Trick Room. We have a new Trick Room setter in Weirdeer. There's also Ursa Luna as well, so I think there's a lot of Pokemon that do really thrive in Trick Room, and I think Cresselia is one of them. Cresselia is another Trick Room setter with really astounding, very bulky defenses. So we have 120 HP, 110 defense, and 120 SPDEF. Cresselia is rocking that 85 speed, so it's a bit of middling speed. I will be honest, I mean, I think Trick Room is phenomenal on Cresselia. However, one of my favorite sets to run, like probably way back in 2017. Is that correct? Would it have been 2018? It may have been, I can't remember now. It may have been 2018. I actually can't quite remember, but like 2017, like in what I would guess would be like the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon era. I think Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon era. But I really liked Calm Mind. Not Recover. Moonlight. There we go. I'm like, not Recover. That's not right. Icy Wind. And Cresselia has both access to Psychic and Psyshock, and I think that's really nice. I can't remember exactly which one I ran. The cool thing is, so while you do take a little bit of a BP reduction for Psyshock, you can kind of see how the meta is shaking out, and you can kind of see if people are building their Pokemon more special defensive-wise or more defensive-wise, and then you can take advantage of that with which one you choose to run. I'm gonna choose Psychic. I'm gonna choose Psychic for now, but I really like this set. You get the Icy Winds off as support for the rest of your team. I think on this set, you could also very happily run Ice Beam. I just liked Icy Wind. I liked a little bit of the speed control. You also get Psychic. You can heal yourself back up if your opponent wants to play passive, going for protects or anything like that. You get to heal yourself back up, and then you also get to boost your SPDEF and your special attack. Like, I really liked this set for Cresselia, and you know, that was also closed team sheets, so people kind of thought I was running Trick Room, but then I'd just be able to hit them with an Icy Wind and outpace them with the rest of my team. So you can run all kind of moves like that. I think like you could also run something Helping Hand, or if you don't feel like you want a healing move. I think the fact that Cresselia is a bulky Trick Room setter that gets its own healing move is really incredible, because a lot of people will want to protect or double protect or make some defensive swaps while you're in Trick Room. So if you can take advantage of them going for protect, or for them going for double protects with both their Pokemon, then you can take advantage. You can Moonlight, and then if they still don't have the firepower to KO the Cresselia, you can get another Trick Room up. So I really do like the Moonlight on Cresselia. I like being able to punish my opponent for trying to stall out my Trick Room by healing myself back up. I also like the Helping Hand. That way, if you have your Trick Room Sweeper out on the field next to the Cresselia and you don't think Psychic is really going to be doing anything, or you can be running Ice Beam depending on kind of like what the meta looks like. But if you don't think that your attacking move is going to be doing anything, then you can Helping Hand the Mon next to you and get a really big attack off. Additionally, the levitate ability is absolutely amazing. That way you would be able to have something like your Ting Lu or your Ursaluna next to you on the field. You can go for Helping Hand, get some really big spread damage, get some big EQs off, everything like that. And having another Mon that is immune to ground type is always very, very useful. Also can't be fissured. So I think that's a great shout, unless your opponent goes for something. Wait, does Fissure get affected by... I know accuracy does not get... I know Fissure's accuracy does not get affected by gravity, but I actually don't know if then floating Mons can be hit by Fissure. I should look that up. I should definitely look that up. But regardless, unless there's something modifying Cresselia's ability or modifying the field, Cresselia also can't be hit by Fissure, so your opponent can't use that as an out either. So I really just wanted to give Cresselia a shout, because I think Cresselia is a wonderful Pokemon, my beautiful space duck. I have loved Cresselia for a long time, and I'm really excited to have Cresselia back and to be able to hopefully be able to build some Trick Room stuff and use her a bit, or not Trick Room stuff as well. But I am going to cut it there. It was actually less than a half hour today, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. But if you did enjoy, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If after that's none of that, and I do hope that everybody does have an absolutely amazing day, and thank you for the person for the follow earlier on my Twitch. I will link my, where I stream 5 days a week, VGC, in the description down below. If you would like to follow, please feel free, but if not, I completely understand. And that's it. Okay, for real, bye.